PBS Kids, a place where kids with and without cable can enjoy some great shows. I asked you to vote for your top 10 favorite PBS Kids shows of all time. Then, I took all of your votes and compiled them into one list, hence creating the ultimate PBS Kids show list of all time, voted on by you. Let's go! Starting off at number 10 is Super Why. The show takes place in Storybook Village, where the main character Wyatt and his team of super readers solve super big problems. By entering various books and following their storylines, Wyatt and his team gather red glittery super letters, which form the solution to each episode's super big problem. That's a lot of supers. Alright, moving on. Hi, have you ever used a computer before? Yeah? Well, I bet you haven't ever traveled through a digital universe before, huh? Cyberchase follows friends Matt, Jackie, Digit, and Nezzy.
Don't call me Nezzy.
Oh, sorry.
And don't call me Nezzy.
Sorry.
Don't call me Nezzy.
Sorry.
Don't call me Nezzy.
I'm sorry. Anyway, it follows these friends as they protect Cyberchase from the clutches of Hacker and his two semi-intelligent assistants, Buzz and Delete. Hacker created a virus that weakened Motherboard, the ruler of cyberspace, and stole from her an important device called the Encryptor Chip. The team of friends begin an ongoing journey to take back the Encryptor Chip from Hacker in order to destroy his virus and bring Motherboard back to full health. Make sure you're paying attention. There will be a vocabulary quiz at the end of this. Oh, Curious George. You're oh so curious. And you're George. And you don't have a tail. Where's your tail? The show chronicles the lives of George and the man with the yellow hat. As one could expect from the name, George's curiosity often gets the best of him and creates unintended problems. But it's okay. The problems lead to teachable moments where George learns something new. How nice. Bonus fact, Curious George's character dates all the way back to 1939 in a French published book named Cecily G. and the Nine Monkeys, and he was originally named Fifi. 1939? That's an old monkey. You know how sometimes you get that insatiable need to see a red dog? So much so that you just want to drop everything you're doing, go to the hardware store, pick up some red paint, find your dog, and stop. Stop. Do not paint your dog red. Instead, just watch Clifford the Big Red Dog. The show takes place in Birdwell Island, where Clifford and his owner, Emily Elizabeth, go through everyday life together. Emily Elizabeth and her family didn't always live on the island, though. They had to move out of their New York City apartment because Clifford grew way too big to even fit in the building. Sheesh, imagine paying that rent. When you hear the word wholesome, what do you think of? Maybe you think of cute cat videos. Or perhaps you think of your sweet elderly neighbor who's just a little too talkative, but she makes the best cookies. Or maybe you completely misheard me and thought I said the word dulsome, in which case you're about to be very confused. Well, when I think of the word wholesome, I think of Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood centers around Fred Rogers, who explores various topics by taking the viewers on tours, doing crafts, demonstrating experiments, making music, and more. The show also hosted the fantasy world of make-believe, which showcased puppets interacting with the show's various guests. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood aired on millions of television sets for children through multiple decades, becoming the longest-running children's show of all time. Well, until another show took the mantle. We'll get to that one in a little bit. Alright, now we're entering the top 5 PBS Kids shows voted on by you with everyone's favorite yellow anthropomorphic dog. No, not that one. This one. Fetch with Ruff Ruffman is a reality game show hosted by Ruff Ruffman himself as he creates various challenges for the show's real-life contestants. A large portion of the challenges also incorporate an educational component in which the contestants have to learn something to then complete said challenges. And let me just say, the theme song, mwah. If you haven't heard it, I recommend listening to it. You can listen to it and all the other theme songs on this list in my 3-minute medleys where I play and sing the music myself. The link's in the description. Alright, plug's over. Moving on. Okay, let's go back in time for a moment. You're in 3rd grade. You're sporting your new Velcro strap shoes. It's 1 p.m., and you have a substitute teacher today. Life is good. And next thing you know, they're rolling in that old TV set because they have nothing to teach you today. And when that TV comes on and you see that iconic school bus dancing around, going down the street, swimming in the water, going inside a person, that bus is everywhere. That bus goes everywhere. And you're here for it. You're absolutely here for it. The Magic School Bus follows Miss Frizzle and her students as they go on adventures through time and space by means of the infamous Magic School Bus, which can change in size and shape depending on what their adventure requires. Imagine being a parent of one of these students. You'd have to sign some weird permission slips. You know how they say eating right before bed can cause weird dreams? Well, one night I ate way too much sushi before I went to sleep, and I swear that I had dreams just like the number 3 show on this list. Dragontails is centered around siblings Emmy and Max, who have access to an enchanted scale which allows them to transport to Dragonland, a fantasy world filled with colorful talking dragons. See what I mean? Emmy and Max spend a lot of time with their dragon friends, aiding them on adventures, helping them solve daily problems, and learning moral lessons along the way. Bonus fact, Zack and Wheezy are my favorite dragons and no one can change my mind. What if I were to tell you that there's a place out there where an English-speaking, school-going aardvark is 8 years old and has been 8 years old for decades? Look, I've tried to do the math, I can't figure it out, but that place does exist! Arthur is a show that chronicles the daily lives and interactions of Arthur Reed alongside his family and friends. The series has never been afraid to cover important real-life issues that real-life families can face, such as anger problems, severe sickness and disease, and mental illness. We all love Arthur. And what do we love second most? The Arthur clenched fist meme. How could we ever forget? Well, we finally made it. And I'm betting you want to know what the number 1 show is. But first, let me give you a hint in the form of a riddle. What's giant, yellow, feathery, and has a man shoved inside of it? You guessed it, Big Bird. And that can only mean one thing. The number 1 PBS Kids Show voted on by you is Sesame Street. Sesame Street combines live action, sketch comedy, animation, puppetry, and music to create an on-screen world that children have been enjoying for decades. Longer than any other children's show, in fact. The show houses so many memorable characters that we can relate to. Tell me which character you relate to the most. Big Bird. I'm very curious and I question everything. Oscar the Grouch. I'm homeless, but this trash can is pretty nice. Bert and Ernie. We're roommates who are also best friends, but are also very different. Cookie Monster. I like food more than I like people, and I'm okay with that. Or Elmo. Don't tickle me, because if you do, I will become a huge toy fad in the early 2000s. And many more. If you ask me, Sesame Street is well deserving of its number 1 spot. And those are the top 10 PBS Kids shows voted on by you. What does your top 10 list look like? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to put your vote in for the next top 10 list, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you never miss a post. And a very special thanks to my channel members and Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. And lastly, I just want to thank each and every one of you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.